Drake Bell is discussing how coming forward about the sexual assault he endured as a teenager at Nickelodeon at the hands of his former language coach Brian Peck has led to change. The 37-year-old Nickelodeon alum discussed why he spoke out about sex abuse for the first time on Investigation Discovery's 4-part docuseries and how he hopes it will help change the industry during a Tuesday, April 9th, Emmys For Your Consideration, FYC, panel for Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV in Los Angeles. "I'm still kind of reeling with the idea of this all being my soul, kind of being bared to the world," Bell told the crowd. "However, you see such positive things coming out of people contacting me at the airport, telling me how brave they are to speak up, how they're fighting to alter laws in their legislatures, and how they see people online. Thus, you're observing a shift. It was the first time that I've really spoken about this to a stranger," the actor recalls when asked to talk about the assault for the documentary. "It's not my personal friends and family or my coworkers who have stood with me over the years." Bell stated that his biggest concern in sharing his account was that he hadn't seen any written material about Peck's 2004 arrest, together with production assistant Jason Handy, who was charged with similar offenses following his arrest. "It's just nowhere," he remarked. "I was so flexed by that, and I'm like, this is the response that I feel should have happened so many years ago, why we have to tell the world about this and this needs to change." Peck continued working without any issues. He's executive producing films starring them and kids. He's traveling and working on the Disney Channel. Bell went on, he left immediately after being arrested to go work on a film in Arizona. He went on, and then he returned, was punished, and shortly after that he had a number of emails from people stating that they would be more than pleased to recruit him to work with children. "And I believe that served as a trigger for this in my case." Bell disclosed her experience of sexual assault in March during the Investigation Discovery docuseries, which explored the purportedly hazardous and poisonous culture that underpinned some of the most well-known children's programs from the late 1990s and early 2000s. Over 16 million people watched Quiet on Set, according to the network. The former child star talked about the months-long abuse he received from Peck when he was 15. On the set of The Amanda Show in 2000, Bell got to know the former dialogue coach. In the documentary, Bell claimed that Peck became his friend, invited him to his house for acting classes, and ingratiated himself into his life to the point where it strained his relationship with his father. Would you want to read the most recent coverage of crimes? For updates on current trials, details on interesting unsolved cases, and breaking crime news, subscribe to People's free true crime newsletter. Peck entered a plea of not guilty to charges of oral copulation with a kid under 16 and of conducting an indecent act with a 14 or 15-year-old in 2004 in relation to Bell's case. Bell was a minor at the time, therefore his identity as the victim was kept a secret. Peck was ordered to register as a sexual offender and received a 16-month prison sentence. Bell stated at the panel discussion on Tuesday that he remembers his life from that period with such fond memories, despite the abuse he endured at the time. "I have dear friends that I worked with that I talk to today on a weekly basis, that have supported me through the years, and I've just become great friends with," he stated. "I do not watch Drake and Josh episodes in horror and think to myself, oh man, this was this terrible time in my life, or I know exactly what I was going through during this episode. I enjoy looking back and seeing the episodes, so it's a bittersweet thing. I'm hoping that we see the shifts and changes inside the industry that are needed," the actor continued. "If a young artist chooses that career route, I would want to ensure that safeguards are in place to ensure that incidents such to those we witnessed in the documentary and discussed in our tales never occur again." Several of Bell's previous co-stars, including his mom and TV brother Josh Peck, who is unrelated to Brian Peck, and Nancy Sullivan, have openly expressed their support since Bell initially came forward. Calm on Set, Max is now offering streaming access to The Dark Side of Kids TV. Text strength to the crisis text line at 741 to 741 to speak with a licensed crisis counselor if you or someone you know has experienced sexual abuse.